youth of our country. What about the elderly?
All right, look, calm down, because this is Facebook. This is different from real TV. Hang up on this guy, you sick freak! Turn the volume down on this. I'm not ready for that kind of garbage. The graphics working. Would you stop it, you scumbag freak? Dadgummit, I wish I could just... Hello there. Welcome to the Uncle Henry Internet Show. Another Friday night, another Uncle Henry Internet Show. Thank you so much for looking in on the program. Tonight, a very special guest, a local man who's made it big, professional musician Eric Erdman is the guest on tonight's Uncle Henry Internet Show. If you don't know who Eric Erdman is, that means that you're ignorant. And that's not an insult to be ignorant. I'm ignorant of a lot of things, especially things of a blankual nature. I don't want to know. But I want to encourage you to lift the veil of your ignorance. Let the knowledge of Erdman penetrate your mind and your consciousness. You'll be happier once you know the very affable Eric Erdman. Now, before we get to the career and life and times of Eric Erdman, I'm going to have another bedtime story for senior citizens. Again, this was probably going to be the last one. I just feel like the senior citizens are being forgotten. They're the top target of the coronavirus, and people still ignoring the needs of the elderly. So if you're elderly, I'm going to help you get to sleep right now with a bedtime story. Now, this week's story is Grady's graduating grandchildren. Once upon a time, there was an upstanding senior citizen named Grady. Grady was an 82-year-old widower who lived alone in an old house off of Shelton Beach Road in 8 Mile. His street address was actually a Pritchard street address, but Grady never wanted to admit that. So he told people he lived in 8 Mile near the old beloved Burger Master. 82-year-old Grady's favorite things to do were watch Alabama football, talk Alabama football, and just sit and think about Alabama football. He was an Alabama fan since the first days of Bear Bryant. He never attended the University of Alabama as a student, but he had gone to the A-Day games every year. 82-year-old Grady didn't ever buy game tickets because he was thrifty. Yes, 82-year-old Grady was not the smartest investor, but he was very, very, very frugal and saved his money all through his life. He saved when he was young and cut people's grass. He saved when he joined the military, and he saved money for his entire career working at the auto parts store. 82-year-old Grady saved and saved and saved. No one knew that he had a big, big, big nest egg, and he never spent his fortune except on his grandchildren. 82-year-old Grady loved his 3 grandchildren, the triplets, Mary, Jane, and Sally. 82-year-old Grady spent nearly 20 years spoiling Mary, Jane, and Sally. He gave them expensive birthday presents and expensive Christmas gifts. He sometimes gave them gifts for no reason at all, other than just because it felt so good to give them presents. Sometimes he just gave them money. And many of the presents he gave Mary, Jane, and Sally were Alabama Crimson Tide gifts. He gave them Alabama pajamas and Alabama bibs when they were babies, and Alabama shirts when they were older, and Alabama pom-poms and Alabama blankets, and Alabama drinking glasses, and Alabama air fresheners, and Alabama welcome mats, and Alabama paintings and Alabama books, and of course, Bear Bryant Coke bottles. 82-year-old Grady even took Mary, Jane, and Sally to the A-Day game with him. He taught them the Alabama fight song and the Rammer Jammer chant. He made sure they were always completely immersed in the good, comfortable vibrations of Alabama football fandom. When it came time for Mary, Jane, and Sally to graduate from high school, 82-year-old Grady was so proud. He wondered to himself, what should I give Mary, Jane, and Sally as a graduation gift? I've saved my money all my life. I can afford to give them almost anything. The thought made him tremble with anticipation. Unfortunately, 82-year-old Grady was in for a terrible shock. Mary, Jane, and Sally came to see him a week before their graduation. Mary told him, "Grandpa Grady, I'm so excited. I just got a scholarship to go to LSU. I'm going to LSU." 82-year-old Grady grabbed his chest. He felt a sharp pain. It felt almost as bad as when LSU beat Alabama 9-6 in overtime back in 2011. "But what about the Alabama Crimson Tide?" cried 82-year-old Grady. Mary replied, "Grandpa Grady, that's fun, but this is real life." Then Jane spoke up. She said, "Grandpa Grady, I have good news too. I just got a scholarship to Tennessee. I'm going to Tennessee." 82-year-old Grady felt the room spin. He was feeling sick. It felt almost as bad as when T. Martin in Tennessee beat the undefeated Alabama 35-18 in 1998. "But what about the Alabama Crimson Tide?" cried 82-year-old Grady. Jane replied, "Grandpa Grady, that's fun, but this is real life." Then Sally spoke up. "Grandpa Grady, I know you'll be happy for me. I want to become a veterinarian. And I just got a full-ride scholarship to Auburn. War Eagle." 82-year-old Grady felt like he was having a stroke and a heart attack and every other bad medical emergency you could have. It felt almost as bad as the awful kick six in the 2013 Iron Bowl game when Alabama beat Alabama. That had been the worst day of 82-year-old Grady's life, even worse than when his late wife, LaWanda, passed away after getting caught in the automatic door at Delshams. "But what about the Alabama Crimson Tide?" cried 82-year-old Grady. Sally replied, "Grandpa Grady, that's fun, but this is real life." 82-year-old Grady still attended Mary, Jane, and Sally's graduation, even though they attended Mary Montgomery High School and the graduations were always rowdy and annoying. After the ceremony, Mary, Jane, and Sally were anxious to see what their graduation gifts would be. Their Grandpa Grady had spoiled them their entire lives. What could it be? Would they get cars? They were so excited. 82-year-old Grady gave each girl and their useless parents envelopes. And they were all excited. Envelopes, they can have checks with lots of zeros on them in those envelopes. But when Mary, Jane, and Sally and their useless parents each opened their envelopes, there were no checks. There wasn't any money. There wasn't even a picture of a car. No, instead, inside each envelope was a handwritten note written by 82-year-old Grady. And each note said exactly the same thing. The note said, "The Grady train has just stopped, and you are getting off. I have just written you out of my will. Roll damn Tide." Grady wrote the "Roll damn Tide" in big capital letters in red magic marker. "But what about our graduation presents?" cried Mary, Jane, and Sally. 82-year-old Grady replied, "This, young ladies, this is real life. Roll, Tide, roll. From now on, go make your own damn money." Yes, he had written all of them out of his will and decided to leave his big fortune to a scholarship fund to help the pitiful children of 8 Mile, Alabama, go to the University of Alabama. And 82-year-old Grady lived happily ever after for just a little while longer. The end. All right, enough of that. I'm tired of doing those. Let's bring on the spectacular musician, a man who started here in Mobile, Alabama, and now the entire globe is his playground. Please welcome to the Uncle Henry Internet Show, Eric Erdman. Eric, it's good, but we're social distancing. We still have, just like at a grocery store, we have a plastic barrier to stop droplets of corona from getting all over each other. Eric, thank you. What a shock it is to see you here this evening.
I'm so happy and honored to be here, and I'm also glad, as much as I love you, that I will not be receiving your droplets this evening.
Well, good. Now, by the way, before we get into your life and times, Eric, you are a professional musician.
I am.
Are you high right now?
I can't divulge trade secrets, but no.
Okay, so you're not high right now.
Yeah.
Do you have a girlfriend in every town?
No.
Half the towns?
You know, it's hard to determine. There's lots of towns, so let's. I'm going to say no again.
All right. Now, Eric Erdman, for the ignorant viewer, you have been a professional musician for how long?
Professional musician since about 1995, 6.
Okay, so a long time.
Yeah.
All right. Now, how would you describe your music, what you do?
That's the most difficult of all questions because.
Wait a minute, this picture, what's wrong with you there? Are you okay?
Yeah.
What is that?
This is Christy Lee, and if you're ever in that close of a proximity to such spectacular talent, it's almost too much to bear. That's what that is. That's me trying to bear it, and
All right,
barely holding on.
She was blowing you off the stage, so to speak,
Yes,
with her talent.
Yes.
All right, how would you describe your music?
Well, one of the things I love the most about being from Mobile is it's just like the food culture, the music culture is a blend. It's a gumbo kind of thing, and that means that all of my heroes I looked up to were kind of hard to define, and I think that it's hard to define my music because as the songs present themselves, one might want to be bluesy, one might want to be jazzy, one might want to be rock and roll. I don't know, and so you follow the song.
You can't. You're telling us you just can't stick to a genre.
Yeah, that was my elaborate way to say we all have ADD, and we can't. We before they had drugs for it.
Okay, all right. Well, you had great acclaim here. Now, early on in your career, they called you Birdman.
Yeah.
Now, what was that? Why
Okay.
were you called Birdman?
That was a baseball thing. I played baseball, and one play back in the day, I made a diving catch in the outfield, and the coach said, if you keep jumping like that, we'll stop calling you Erdman and start calling you Birdman. And it stuck, and that's what everybody called me through high school, and then through college, and then it was just a thing.
Even on stage.
So then it became a thing, yeah.
And then but it has slowly melted away.
Some
you
people
shed your childhood nickname.
Yeah, but I'll still answer to it. Sometimes I'll hear somebody go Birdman. I'm like, okay, I know they've been around a while.
All right. Now we're showing a picture of. This is a recording of a song that you wrote about Dolphin Island Parkway. Explain why you would write a song about Dolphin Island Parkway.
I've been playing and writing music long enough that they used to be on this type of medium. This thing here. It's called a compact disc.
Yeah, but why did you write a Dolphin Island Parkway song?
I was born and raised on Dolphin Island Parkway, and I'm very proud of it. It's kind of regarded by some to be not the best neighborhood, but to us, we're a family. We love it there and are proud of it. And so I don't know. It felt you're supposed to write what you know, and I know the DIP.
Did you have an above ground pool or anything like that?
We weren't rich, Uncle Henry. We couldn't afford an above, but a lot of our wealthy friends had.
All right. Well, speaking of wealthy friends, before we get to your wealthy friends, this is your mama?
That is my mother. This was obviously an Easter photograph, and she had just stolen my bunny ears. I know yeah.
Does she do that for all the holidays? She dressed like Santa on Christmas and Easter bunny at Easter and a leprechaun on St. Patrick's Day and someone from south of the border.
And she used to live in
Cinco de
Crichton,
Mayo.
so that works out.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And your mom has become, she's gained notoriety herself.
That's true. At 72, she decided she wanted to try stand-up comedy, had never even done any public speaking or anything. And
That is wonderful. At age 72.
Just the bravery alone to even just go up and bomb would have been impressive. But she went up and has completely blown everybody away. And now she just booked a couple of big shows. Actually, she was booked at the Frog Pond as the first comedian at the Frog Pond, and then it got canceled due to coronavirus. And then she's booked in October in Key West at the theater to be the co-host of a big show. So she's off.
That is something. So but now do you think she's really good, or are people just being polite because she's old?
You know, I'm going to say she's really good. I would be like, I love you because you're my mom, and I'd probably give her the benefit of the doubt,
Right.
of course. And because she has done the same thing for my songs that I'm surely said she liked some that were not the greatest over the years. And but I don't have to do that. I don't have to fake it. She's actually genuinely good.
Does she work blue? Is
No.
she? Okay.
Well-
good.
Light blue.
Well, now what is light blue? What is light blue?
Like she may discuss some things that have happened throughout her life that deal with sexual ideas.
Oh, now you didn't have to get graphic.
But instead of being graphic, she will say lady parts.
Well, that you don't even want to talk about that.
Well, that's
Unless, now when you're 72 and you're having a medical issue with parts, you get a pass when you discuss a part due to medical issues. But is she talking about medical issues with whatever?
no.
All right. Well, your mom.
Don't think worse of her. She's a lovely lady.
Well, I'm sure. Now, this comes with a bit of audio that we're going to play. Before we play the audio, what are we seeing?
Okay, so a couple years ago, I was doing a gig at the Cutting Room in New York City with
A gig being slang for a job, a musical job.
I was performing a musical job
Okay.
with a big band,
Oh, okay.
and at the Cutting Room in New York City. And during the day before the gig, I realized that it was International Pillow Fight Day. So I went down and got in the fray. This is not post-coronavirus approved. This
All
one
right.
doesn't happen anymore.
Can we play the?
I'm in New York City the day before the gig with the Buddy Rich Band at the Cutting Room, and it just so happens that my trip coincides with International Pillow Fight Day. And it's about to go down.
I didn't like the sound of that crowd. Now you're excused because you're a professional musician, but any other person, what are they doing to hitting people with pillows if they're adults?
Random strangers.
Yeah, a little again, wondering what people were on. Now the next photograph, you've made all these famous friends that we're going to see. Some of these pictures. The next picture that we've got to show is a very famous Alabamian.
Oh, yeah.
Now look.
Chuck.
Well, let's play the Charles Barkley audio.
All right, so as some of you know, I've been on the road for about 3 weeks, and I love it. I've been seeing some interesting things, eating some interesting food.
He got his black friend with him tonight, Charles Barkley, my homeboy. What's up, my brother?
So when you get to missing home on the road, you gotta get a little
You got to
Alabama.
meet a homeboy. Hey, listen, I love E. Listen, keep supporting my boy. Let's get to Mobile. Let's have some fun.
I told him he got to come for Mardi Gras, the original
Hey, you know
Mardi
what?
Gras.
And I told you, I've never been to Mardi Gras. And I tell you what, you have my word. I'm coming to Mardi Gras.
Now, how did you meet him?
So long ago, my band, The Ugly Stick, was playing in Birmingham, and he frequented the place we played, and we became quick friends. And he would show up every time that we were playing in Birmingham. He'd fly in, and he actually flew in the night they retired his jersey. We were watching on TV. They retired his jersey in Phoenix, and we were like, "Oh, well, I guess Charles isn't going to be here tonight." And they retired it, and 2 hours later, he was walking in the door. So anyway, I actually just talked to him yesterday. I was talking to him.
Oh, you did?
Yep.
No, did he have comments on current events?
Well, he said he said he and his wife have been eating a lot. He said he'd been working out and golfing. So
What about him running for governor?
Well,
Would he make a good governor? You know him.
We haven't discussed that.
Oh, you haven't?
No, but I would vote for him.
Do you know who the governor is?
I did.
I'm serious. You're a musician. Musicians are not connected to reality. They live in a dream world. They get up at noon and they sit around and then they start playing guitar or whatever their instrument is into the night. They don't know what's going on.
This
Do you
is
know who
true.
the governor is?
Barely, yes, but I do.
Can you say the name of the governor?
Okay, Abby.
Wow. Dadgum. Excellent.
I didn't know this was gonna be a trivia. 1 for 1. 1 for 1, baby.
Should I ask him the lieutenant governor?
No, don't do that. I'll fail. I'm not.
All right. Well, okay. All right, but you at least know who the governor is, probably because some people have been mad at her.
Let's
Now, let's talk about concerts there aren't any going on right now.
Not at all.
So what have you been doing?
I've been writing. I always write at a heavy pace, but I've probably been writing 3 times as much, because usually I tour and write with the people who are near where my performances are, and you have to schedule, because the other people are on the road as well, and you have to find out, and so you have to make all the schedules align. But everybody is off of the road now, so everybody's at home.
What have you been writing about during coronavirus? Have these been songs of despair, songs of hope? What's
A little of everything. They're not all one thing. I've probably written 25 or 30 songs.
25 or 30 songs?
Yeah, in the last 3 weeks, probably 4 weeks.
What does it take? 20 minutes to write a song?
No, I mean,
How are you doing that?
a lot of effort. What else do I have to do?
And can you give me any subject matter at all?
Oh, well, there's been a bunch of them. There was one of hope, 2 of hope actually, that are saying we can get through this. Look toward the future. It's going to be brighter at the end of this lock-in isolation. Okay. We wrote one. I wrote one yesterday, and it's called "One Day Chicken, Next Day Feathers," which is about life throws you curveballs, and sometimes you're lucky, sometimes you're not.
Okay, now see that is intriguing. All right, very good. Now, concerts, you're not having any anymore. People are wondering how the concert industry is going to re-emerge. Ticketmaster has come up with these new rules. We've got them up here. Ticketmaster is doing a show where only 1/3 of the seats are sold. Everybody's got to wear a mask at the concert. They check your temperature before you go. They fog people with disinfectant. You have to social distance. What do you think about all that? Could you play under these conditions?
I mean, I guess we have to play under whatever the conditions are given to us, but that surely sounds like a foreign landscape to me. That it would be very hard to connect. Certain rooms, I think sometimes an intimate venue can be okay with less people. Like if it's a room that holds 40 people and there are 8 there, it might be fine. But if you're playing at the Sanger Theater and there's 100 people in there, that's going to feel terrible.
But this is these people that are going to have to wear masks and all this and get fogged with the disinfectant. They're going to be ready for the chicken feather song.
This is
They're
true.
they want to hear that sometimes life sucks, and here's a song about how your life sucks as you've paid to watch me while you've been fogged.
I feel like as things open back up, I have been thinking about the fact that people in my line of work, we're probably the very tail end last thing that's going to open all the way back up, because the point of our job is to gather the most people in close proximity,
Right.
and then
Absolutely.
we sit there and scream at them and spit droplets.
That's right. The droplets are coming out of you. All right.
So,
they've also come up with a special suit. Now, this is not a joke. This is a real suit called the macra shell, where people have said this is what you'll have to wear to go to a concert. It has its own ventilation system. There's all these restrictions in the macra shell. Now, would you feel better playing to a packed out, completely full Sanger Theater with people dressed in the dadgum human prophylactic thing?
I mean, I would feel safer for myself and them, but I feel like I would need to adapt my music to more like Daft Punk.
Well, see,
Oh, well, there you go.
this and the ticket price would have to be through the roof just to pay for the damn suit.
This is true. This is true. Well, I was even thinking that just on the limited seating. If there's 1/3 as many seats, are there
That's
going to be
right,
3 times
yes.
as much tickets? I mean, I'm no mathematician.
Well, that makes sense. Now, people might be willing to pay inflated prices to see some musical icon. Would your fans triple the price to see you, Eric Erdman?
No.
This is good. Know thyself.
Hey,
Know thyself. The coronavirus, as bad as it's been, it has brought clarity to our lives. And you have a clear picture of what's going on with your career if you realize that no one's going to wear the suit for you. All right, now, who is this friend of yours?
oh, that's Big Boy from Outkast.
Outkast?
They are a hip-hop group from Atlanta, Georgia.
Okay, they're the people that did the song "Shake It Like a Polaroid Picture."
This is correct, yeah.
Awful, just awful. Well, you know it's bad, but you're friendly to them because musicians have a code that they don't judge each other as sucky.
We try to, but I would also say that they're inherently not sucky.
All right, well, we agree to disagree on that awful band. Now, who are these people? Wait, is that you with the hair?
Oh, yeah, this is me when I had the mane.
All right, now that, you know what? That is, you're begging to be pulled over. I mean, you are. I mean, they know that all they got to do is say, you know what? Look at this guy. That's probable cause for an entire investigation.
Yeah, the police force do feel that way.
But who are the other people that are
These
that
are three of the best
better?
bass players in the world. This is Chuck Rainey. That's Victor Wooten, and that's Quentin Berry, who lives here in Mobile, Alabama. Okay.
The best bass players in the world.
Correct.
What recordings would I have heard that they're on since they're the best in the world?
Tons of stuff, but Steely Dan, Asia.
Oh, I've heard of them. They call Alabama the Crimson Tide.
There's him on bass.
Oh, did he play on that song?
I think so, yeah. And then
Johnny Gwynn, would you like to sit on the set with us? Would you like to sit on the set with us?
But he's also played on tons of Sanford and Son theme song.
Now that is culturally relevant in a way that I never expected from that lousy photograph. Now, what about the other people? What about the other people? What have they played on?
Victor is more of a virtuoso musician, but he's played with Dave Matthews and he's played with tons and tons of, he's played with Bella Fleck and the Flecktones.
All right, all right, and who, the other guy that lives
Quentin was our bass player in the Ugly Stick, but he also is a solo bassist that plays around Mobile, and he's exceptionally good.
Now, what does a solo bassist do?
He plays bass. He will keep you entertained with just a bass guitar.
All right, now, Johnny, come on, Johnny. Knock it off. All right, now, move on. All right, now, I recognize the lady with the large mouth is called, no offense. I'm just, there's a lot of ladies you've got to distinguish between them, and I didn't talk about her parts. That's Carly Simon?
Correct.
Now, how do you know her?
Well, that was Bill Withers' daughter, Corey, over here.
Well, now go back to the...
This is my friend Corey Withers, and then that's Carly's daughter, Sally Taylor. Sally came to Mobile and played on Dolphin Street, and I opened up for her, and we became friends, and we're still friends 25 years later.
All right, so you met the daughter of Carly Simon. Now, what are you doing on stage?
We were performing at in Martha's Vineyard.
But what were you doing? Well, I mean specifically, were you singing backup?
On this song, I was singing
What
backup.
was the song?
I believe this was an encore where we were singing Lean On Me.
That's not a Carly Simon song.
Yeah, but it's her dad's song, and Carly loves it.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, we'll see.
There's relevance.
Okay, well, good. I just need you to explain. Don't assume that I know any of this crap. All right, now.
That's Sally again.
All right, there she is. Now,
And that's Sally's dad.
James Taylor.
That's correct.
What, now, did he offer you heroin?
He
He's infamous. He's infamous.
That has been quite a few decades ago.
He was on it.
Well,
Did he offer you, did he offer you something lesser, like methadone?
I did not. I did not know him in those times. He is clean and a gentleman.
So did you just get a picture with him in like a 1-minute meeting, or have you had conversations with him?
No, I've had long conversations with him. We were, like I said, I know him through his children, who are friends of mine, and then over the years, we're acquaintances. I know I'm friends of his daughter and son. So,
Isn't there a culture clash between Martha's Vineyard and DIP?
Yes. There's actually a funny story. One of my close friends here heard I was going to do that show that you saw and was like, "I'm coming up to see you," but he talks with a very southern, hey y'all kind of thing, and he flew up, and so I'm in Martha's Vineyard, and I'm walking down the street one morning, and I knew he was going to be there, but we had discussed it a month ago, not recently, so it wasn't on the top of my mind. And I'm walking down the Martha's Vineyard streets with it's perfect. I don't know if you've ever been there, but it's beautiful and picturesque.
How would I be in Martha's Vineyard?
You're a man of the world.
I'm a man of lower Alabama. But anyway, you're walking down the street and a redneck approaches.
Well, no, it was. That's not what I'm saying. But we were walking in this like otherworldly, everything's painted white in this perfect, pristine thing, and I just hear way off in the distance, "Hey, Ray," and I was like, I didn't even register it at first. I was like, "Hey, Ray," and then I realized it was my friend yelling for me, and I was like, I didn't even have to turn around. I was like, oh, that's clearly my person from home. No one else would say Eric like that. So
Okay.
it was good to recognize auditorially Mobilian from.
Now, has James Taylor allowed you to perform with him?
I have not played with James. I have played like in a room, like we've sat and played guitar together, but not on stage with him. No.
All right. He was on Apple Records.
That's correct.
During the time of the Beatles. What's your favorite Beatle?
Oh, that's tough. McCartney.
Wrong answer. All right. Next. All right. Rodney Crowell.
Yes, and Mary Gaucher and Beth Nielsen Chapman and Sherry Smith.
Now he looks like he doesn't even know who he's with. Does he even know who you were?
He does. He's also a good friend, and that is a pretty funny picture.
Well,
of him.
it looks like you've shocked the man.
We kind of did. This was selfie. It was just a quick selfie. That's why it's blurry.
Right. That kind of looks like he's being disrespected. All right, the next picture, please. All right, now.
Jim Peterick.
All right, who is this guy? He's already got a problem with non-conforming hairstyle. What is Survivor? So he's with Survivor.
He's written many songs that you've heard, but he was in the Ides of March, and then he wrote Eye of the Tiger, Survivor.
Oh, he wrote Eye of the Tiger.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. the platinum record right behind us, right there.
All right, you know what? I know a lot of the lyrics to that because Americans were forced to listen to that damn thing over and over and over again. All right, who else is on the list? Now the Ventures.
Do you like the Ventures?
Yes, that's the only good stuff I've seen so far.
Okay, there you go.
Now this poor guy, he looks like he's happy to see anybody. Is that true?
Well, yeah, he was seated in a wheelchair. That's why I'm leaning.
Okay,
down,
well, he's happy to see you.
But yeah, he's a good dude. He was super nice.
You know what? Thank you for being nice to the elderly in the Ventures. That's a good thing about you.
Well, it's not like just being respectful because they're elderly. They're phenomenal. They're legendary musicians.
Yeah, but you were also nice to the other people. All right. Now this, Deep Purple. Oh.
Yeah.
Come on. One of the worst openings of a song in history is the Smoke on the Water garbage.
Everybody knows it.
Everybody has been subjected to it. If you want me to leave somewhere, play that. What are your reflections on this guy?
Super nice guy. He also was a guest drummer with the Buddy Rich band at Ronnie Scott's in London. So we were over there for a week, and he was the special guest.
If I asked him who you were, would he know who you are?
Yeah.
Really? Okay. Now this guy, the most sickening of them all here. That guy, what a sick individual Rod Stewart is. You know those songs, do you remember those awful songs he did in the 70s?
I remember all the great songs.
Do you remember the one about the girl that he's trying to lure her in and saying, spread your wings? Do you remember that?
Yes.
Do you remember the one where he's saying, do you want my body?
Yes.
If you think I'm blanky, come on, baby, let me know. Do you remember all that filth?
I do.
Filth peddler.
Yeah.
It's true, and you know it's true.
See, we musicians, I don't want to say we peddle filth.
He had a song about
exclusively.
Somebody's hot legs. Do you remember this?
I do. I was a fan.
All right, what is going on with him then? Why are you with the filthy Rod Stewart?
Well, this is Kathy Rich. This is Buddy Rich's daughter and the president of the all things Buddy Rich. And then Greg Potter is the drummer for the Buddy Rich band. And then Ian was that guest drummer that week. And then Rod came because he's friends with everybody, but also he was during this time of coronavirus, we were actually going to be his backing band and go on tour with him, but that whole tour got pushed. So now who knows what's happening.
Now, when you were with Rod Stewart, did you ever bring up the whole stomach pump thing?
Oh, Lord. No, I didn't.
All right, so you're still too awkward with that guy.
A little awkward, yeah.
Now, you were just saying that you were going to go on tour with the Buddy Rich Band?
Yeah.
And what were you going to do?
Yeah, this them. Actually, this is in Jim Peterick's studio, and we were finishing mixing the final album Buddy Rich ever recorded, which is it's legendary.
All right, these are adults wearing sunglasses indoors.
This is true.
What are they hiding? They don't want us to see their pupils.
Well, it's bright up there in Chicago. This is Chicago.
But you were going to go on tour with them and do what with them?
Play guitar.
No singing? You're a great singer.
Okay, typically I play guitar with the Buddy Rich Band, but on some of these gigs, right now I was supposed to be leaving to go play in Tokyo at the Blue Note, and on those gigs, we had Danny Seraphin from Chicago as our guest drummer, so I was going to get to sing in front of the band and do 4 Chicago songs.
You were going to sing Chicago songs in Tokyo?
Yeah, next week, but instead I'll be on DIP.
Well, Chicago had a hit in the 70s called Harry Truman. Do you remember that?
No.
Johnny Gwynn, you remember that song? America, yeah. Wouldn't that have been weird to sing Harry Truman because Truman dropped the bomb?
That would have been weird.
On Japan.
There was a reason why that one wasn't on the set list, I guess.
What songs were you going to sing? What Chicago songs were you going to sing?
25 or 6 to 4,
right.
Questions 67 and 68, Just You and Me. I'm trying to think of what the other one is. Does anybody really know what time it is?
Oh, okay. I've heard of all that. All that stuff is probably way older than you.
Yeah, some of it.
All right, now this is, you are circled so we can actually prove that you were there.
This is the cutting room gig that the day of I was in the pillow fight before that gig. And this is Max Weinberg from the E Street Band, Bruce Springsteen's band. He was our guest drummer. Very nice man as well. He actually, surprisingly, was like pretty nervous to start the gig, which I thought was strange because he's like very, very accomplished. But he's out of his element kind of because he's a rock and roll drummer. He's playing this, and he actually started the wrong song. And there are many, many. Like the next song on the list was a very slow, da-da-na-na-na, da-da-da-da-da, and he started and went 1, 2, 3, 4, and like everybody was like, and it was like clearly the wrong song, and he just went stop, stop. And many people I have seen through my years of playing professional musician as a professional musician, I've seen stars that would take all of the shame off of themselves and place the responsibility on any scapegoat. And he was exactly the opposite. He was like, this whole band of professionals are amazing, and I completely screwed that up all on my own. Like, give me all of the shame, and we'll start the song again. And I just thought that was pretty big of him.
All right, so we're all supposed to like that guy now.
Yeah.
All right.
Max.
Have you...
Bruce Springsteen's drummer.
Well, I've heard of it. Don't get me started on that annoying Born to Run crap. Now, you're with all these famous people.
I know.
Before we get any further, you're with the Deep Purple guy and the Weinberg and the James Taylors. Did you ever say, hey, I've written some songs too? And have you played your songs to them and got their feedback? Played the DIP song to the people in Martha's Vineyard?
For some of them I've played, yeah.
Oh, you have?
Yeah.
And what was that like? What was the reaction?
Oh, I mean, I don't know. There's been a lot of, which one specifically? You're talking of bunches of interactions with people. I don't know. Some of them most of them like it, whether they genuinely like it or they're being nice.
I'm sorry I asked. Obviously, they didn't like it.
They hated
I'm sorry,
the DIP
man,
song,
Eric, I'm
all of
sorry.
them.
That was an embarrassing question. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Now, we are really running long here. We will try to take some phone calls, but before we get to that, remember that you can order your own coronavirus mask at shirtbutter.com, the Uncle Henry coronavirus mask. That's affordably priced at shirtbutter.com. Also, by the way, we were going to do coloring book pages. We are not going to have time for that tonight, but you can go download the latest coloring book page. See, the Mobile County Health Department lady, the professional counselor from the health department says if you're feeling stressed out due to the virus, you should color in an adult coloring book and that'll help your stress. So we have some coloring book pages at shirtbutter.com. Now also want to let people know about your music. They can find your music and your merchandise at your website,
That's right.
ericerdmanmusic.com. ericerdmanmusic.com.
I have my own frisbees.
You have your own frisbees.
They're actually discs for disc golf, but I have other discs too. I have discs, and I have shirts and patches and all sorts of things. Check
Right,
it out.
so go buy all of that stuff from ericerdmanmusic.com. Now, before we go to the phones, you used to watch this show back in 1989, 1990.
That's correct. I was a studio audience member once. My older brother was hip, and he brought me along. So we went. I don't even know what location where you would have been at.
It was Comcast cable TV there at Moffett Road. Now, back in those days, I would tell people that they were going straight to hell. Do you remember that?
I do remember.
I would tell people, like if Rod Stewart were to come in, I would have told him boldly, "You're going to go straight to hell, Rod Stewart." But I've mellowed through the years, Eric Erdman, and now I would never do that. I would never judge someone's soul. I don't know the road they've walked and their difficulties. So instead now, I would tell people that if you continue your behavior, Rod Stewart, you're more likely to go to the devil. You are. He is.
What?
He is. I mean, that whole song was #1 for weeks, where he was trying to get into that young woman's drawers, telling her to spread her wings. Spread your wings, baby.
They might have been married. You don't know.
So he was more likely to go to the devil for putting that song at #1. And I've got a list. Last week I had a list of 10 people that were more likely to go to the devil. We've got a new list. We're adding on to it. Number 11 would be, of course, parents who play classic rock to their little children. They're more likely to go to the devil. Next on the list will be talented musicians who lower themselves to sing covers of trashy classic rock songs. You'd be more likely to go to the devil. Politicians who enjoy their power too much, they are far more likely to go to the devil. Whoever thought up the self-checkout lines at the grocery stores? You know, is life hard enough without having us to get behind somebody that's never even used a computer before, trying to figure out how to scan some baked beans? The guy who cut me off in traffic on my way here, it was Ann Street and Dolphin again.
Always.
It was. This guy wasn't in a Jeep, though. Any adults that celebrated May the 4th as Star Wars Day? Now, the reason, now you're saying, oh, what's the harm? False religion. People around the world have listed when they go on forms of what there's religion, and they put Jedi. It's false religion. Instead of saying, may the Lord be with you, have a blessed day, they'll say, may the force be with you. It's substituting for our Lord. Next on the list, of course, overly tactile individuals. I don't like being touched by people.
Good thing this thing's in the way right here.
Thank the Lord on that. Anyone who calls, texts, or Facebook messages me after 7 p.m. Central Time, what's the matter with you? With your freewheeling lifestyle, calling people at all hours. And then, of course, we have the folks that tell me that if you really cared, you would copy their Facebook status and make it your own Facebook status.
I can definitely agree with you on that.
Get off our backs on this. We're not going to cure cancer by copying and pasting your status. And then number 20 is blank for the callers, depending on what type of calls we might get. Eric Erdman, are you ready to take a few phone calls?
Let's do it.
All right, the telephone, are the lines open? All right,
Hello.
Hello, caller.
Hello.
You're on.
Hello.
Yes.
Hey, Eric.
Hey.
It's good to have you on. Listen, I've got a request next time you play in a venue.
Okay.
Do you know the song? I love to see my big fat mama naked.
You leave my mama out of this! You freak! That's sick. And it's right before Mother's Day.
I was about to say.
It's right before Mother's Day. How many mothers out there were just scandalized by what you said. All right, do we have any other calls? Yes. Hello? Hello?
Oh, yeah. Yes, hello. Eric, it's incredible. Your mother go back to work as comedian at 72. Uncle Henry, Mom, she big fat mama just lay on the couch.
Dad,
Two in a row.
hang up on these people. All right, do we have any other? Well, might have to abandon the calls completely here. Yes. All right, hello, caller.
Hey,
Yes, hello.
hey, those last callers were terrible, and I promise not to talk about your mother.
Okay, well, thank you, sir.
Yes, yes, Mr. Birdman, you are awesome. I love your music.
Oh, thank you.
Hey, I got an idea. Since you can't be in Tokyo, I got an idea. You ready?
Oh, I'm scared. Yep.
Okay, yeah. You could get your guitar, go with Uncle Henry to the old folks' home, play some Rod Stewart, and maybe get him some action.
Would you hang up on this person? You know, look, and this is and I'm the opposite of Erdman in that I've been proudly celibate since the Jimmy Carter administration.
What's wrong with some romance? Come on. He might have a good idea right there.
What's wrong with some romance? Have you not? We have a global pandemic, Erdman.
Well, wear a mask.
Do we have any other callers? Yes. Hello, caller.
Hello.
Hello.
Mr. Eric. Hello. Do you ever play the ukulele?
I'm sorry, I can't understand what you're saying.
Do you ever play the ukulele?
Do you ever play the ukulele?
The ukulele.
Not usually, no.
Good.
Do you sing Tiptoe Through the Tulips? Did you sing Tiptoe Through the Tulips?
Tiptoe through the tulips.
Oh, I don't know any Tiny Tim. I'm sorry. Do you like Tiny Tim?
No. Come on, Eric Erdman.
I was just asking.
All right, hang up on whatever that was. All right. Hello, caller. Is there another caller? Hello?
Yes. Hey, Eric.
Hey.
You know, you're hanging out with a true celebrity there, Uncle Henry in Mobile. You know, Uncle Henry and Snoop have a lot in common.
Uh-oh. Really? In what way?
And yeah, they do. Well, they do. When it comes to washing their cars, they both use their hose.
Now, what does that mean? Did you tell a dirty joke that was over my head?
No, they both use a hose to wash the car with.
Oh, would you hang up on, now that's a, all right, it took me a minute to get your stupid joke. You know, can't we have a real person call the program? I mean, this guy has been with some of the most infamous freaks. He's a wealth of knowledge about the world in which we live. He's traveled with all these famous rich people, and all you can think of to do is call in about hose? Is there any other call? Hello.
Hi, Uncle Henry.
Yes.
Thank you for taking my call tonight.
Well, thank you for calling.
Yes, Eric, I have a question for you.
Okay.
I heard about that project you're doing with Nigel Tufnell called Erdman of Alcatraz. I just wanted to know what the status is of that and when we could hear more about that.
I know not of what you speak.
All right, hang up on this guy. Hang up on that guy, sir. You spent too long on your call in the concept stage. Any other calls? Hello. Hello.
I'm calling you from Waco, Texas.
Waco. Now what?
You are killing it. Yes.
Why are you watching in Waco, Texas? Are you a Branch Davidian?
Well, my wife is a Mobilian, and
Awesome.
I'm a Daphneite.
Oh, okay. And you
Okay.
moved to Waco for what?
Well, we didn't move here for the religion.
So,
Okay.
I'm guessing you've seen the Netflix series.
Yes, indeed. I've been to the compound. Anyway, I just want to tell you, you're killing it. Your bedtime stories are fantastic.
I agree.
And we
I
love
agree.
that you give us a little piece of Mobile.
All right. Well,
Don't
sir, now there's got to be a but here. You're going to go in for the kill, correct?
No. I'll leave you with this. Sick 'em Bears and War Eagle.
Now, did he said War Eagle?
Uncle Henry, I have something for you. It's a surprise.
A surprise?
I do. My sweet mother has driven here because we have a gift we want to give you.
Oh, your mother wants to present a gift.
Yeah.
That's the reverse of Mother's Day when the mother's giving the
Yeah.
gift.
Sorry, we didn't mean to stop the calls. Continue with the calls. Just,
No, so you've announced the special guest and then she's not going to appear?
Just my arm.
Well, you've got to get on camera now.
oh, you got a card. I didn't know it was a card. I was just bringing stuff. There you go. Juanita, everybody. This is Juanita over here.
She's not on camera.
We mentioned her and her comedic genius. Just stick your head in here and say, hey, Mom. Just for a second. Just say, hey. We're not supposed to hug, but we're good.
Juanita, I'm impressed by you.
What?
Oh, yeah.
Lean in and look at you.
And I like now, have you been with filthy people like he has?
Pretty much. I'm the one that took him, you know.
Well, now, this smells like body odor. This smells like somebody wore something in here.
No.
All right. Well, there's a card.
I didn't mean to interrupt the whole program.
There's nothing in the damn card.
Right.
Just pretend.
What the hell is this?
Here, stand behind me, Mom. Or you can sit down if you want. Okay.
All right. Well, thank you. I could re-gift this.
That's right.
Now, can she be heard on the microphone? Not really, okay.
I've had this since I was 16, so I've had it for 56 years. I hope you don't mind an old gift.
Oh, you're giving me, that's why it smells like it's been around. All
It's
right.
been around.
I'm cleaning out my clothes in the closet.
And it's perfect.
I held on to the cassette of them to show them when they're artist.
1964. Alabama. This makes up for the douchebag callers. It really does.
Thank you, Mom.
It really does. Thank you so much. Hey, no, I didn't have this.
Thank you.
No, I've been looking at the flea market for these kind of things for years. And they're too precious. Oh, my God.
You have a matching set. There's
Are
4 of
you,
them.
now, Juanita, I hate to ask a personal question, but are you ill?
Mentally, maybe.
Well, you know, when people get ill, sometimes they'll give away their possessions.
I'm just that way.
All right. Well, God bless you. Thank you. What a wonderful thing.
All right, I didn't mean to interrupt callers. I saw Mom had arrived
All right, well,
with your gift.
All right, do we have any other callers? Let's take a call. Hello?
John McNee.
All right, hang up on this person. All right, you know what? We might need to start taking calls earlier because people have gotten into their cocktails a little too
Okay,
late.
Henry, thank you for allowing me to call you after 7 p.m. Central Time.
Yeah.
And thank you for allowing me to be part of this obviously Emmy Award-winning broadcast. I'm calling you from Leesburg, Florida. I just called to tell...
Wait a minute. Is this the guy that said he was in Waco and he's called back and said he's in Leesburg, Florida? It is, isn't
No,
it?
I'm going to say go... No, it's not. I just called to tell Eric we love him. We love Juanita. And
Love you. Thanks,
this
man.
is a person that all Mobilians should be proud of.
Oh, man, thank you.
And I guess with that, the only other thing I have to say is go Gators.
All right. Now, see, you ruined what could have been a perfectly reasonable, boring call. Hang up. All right. Any other calls? Hello.
Hey, Uncle Henry, roll tide.
Roll Tide,
I
roll.
think I'll be the first reasonable caller. And but Eric, I just wanted to ask you. I mean, obviously, you've been one hell of a musician, and
Thank
I
you.
wanted to ask what your funniest tour story is with all the people you've been on tour with and all the people you've recorded and played with.
Oh.
Tell us a good story about them.
All right. Now, what was the question?
A tour story, a funny, one of my favorite funny tour
Yeah,
stories.
just a funny
All
tour.
right, sir. Enough of you. All right. A funny tour story.
Well, actually, since Sally was up there, one time we were touring through Pennsylvania, and this was way back before the GPS and such. So
Okay.
it was just like the "Hey, follow us" kind of thing, right? And so there was a band, and I had a car. So Sally got in with me, and it was the band, and we were following in a car, and it was very torrential downpour, which I was familiar with being from Mobile, so it wasn't big deal. But we don't know where we're going. We have no Google Maps or anything at this time. And so they're just like, follow the van to the hotel. Well, these fools up there were just flying through red lights and, everything. But we had to keep following them so we didn't get lost. And we're going, and I'm like, man, another red light went through it, and then blue lights. Get pulled over, and I'm like, oh, man, this is bad. Get pulled over, and it's storming and raining, so I'm probably getting a ticket at this point because they don't want to, get wet out there and give me a ticket unless they mean it. So I'm sitting there, and the police officer walks up to the door and rolls the window down and says, I rolled the window down. He said, do you know why I pulled you over? And I said, 'cause I ran that red light back there. And he said, you ran a red light? And I went, no, sir. Anyway. Then it came to be, he was like, you were following that van too close. But I learned a quick lesson that night that never answer that question. Do you know why I pulled you over? The answer is no, I have no idea.
Now, see, this is news you can use. This is good. Thank you for telling that story.
Sorry, it's like, I might be telling on yourself. So just say, how long have you been following me? You know why I pulled you over? How long have you been following me? No.
All right, we're getting close to the hour mark. Do we keep going, producer? I know that, but do we keep going? More phone calls, or we go into the... All right, let's take a few more phone calls if they can be reasonable people. Hello.
Them masks you're selling, if they're made out of women's undergarments, I'd like to buy about 20.
Just hang up on that guy. See, now the calls have taken a weird turn because of you and Rod Stewart.
I mean, one of your commandments on there was if you call after 7 p.m., you're likely to go to hell, and then you open the phone.
I didn't say you're likely to go to hell.
Go to the devil. Go to the devil.
Another call, please. One.
Hey, Uncle Henry and Eric, I got a question for each one of you, and I'll go for you first, Eric, if you don't mind.
All right.
How come you two still haven't found what they're looking for?
Because they keep looking and the streets have no names.
There you go. That's perfect. You got it right. Uncle Henry, you're on the clock now.
All right, wait. Before you ask your question, your opinion of those sanctimonious, strutting around U2 people. They're just so dadgum irritating. What do you think of Bono?
Well, I was just asking.
Dadgummit, sir, would you hold on? These pretentious people. One guy changed his name to The Edge.
I mean
how pretentious, sir, dadgummit?
Listen.
Wait, dadgummit, sir. Hang up on him. Hang up on him.
No.
Hang up the damn phone. This is important. There's a rock and roll group, and a guy named himself The Edge. And he's an adult now, probably in his 40s or 50s, and he's still The Edge.
Yeah, that's a little peculiar. But like most people, I'm a U2 fan. At least at some era, there are many of their songs that.
If we were off Facebook, would you admit that some of these people are nuts?
The callers or U2?
I want to ask you, before we're out of time, I want to ask you about the Mobile sound, because you've talked before on my radio show that there's a Mobile sound. We have people like Jimmy Buffett that was from around here, and J.W. Slide, the Mobile Crude, Will and the Bushman,
yep.
Wet Willie. Oh, dadgum, I didn't know that was in there. Wet Willie. What is the Mobile sound? Could you describe it?
There's always some aspect of kind of a swampy, bluesy, jazzy element, but it doesn't mean that the acts themselves are swampy, bluesy, jazzy acts, if that makes any sense.
No, it doesn't.
Well, it's just the flavor. It's the seasoning. So, like in the recipe, the base, the stock might be something totally different. You might be cooking chicken or steak or fish.
I asked you about music.
Well, I'm trying to. It's called a metaphor. I'm trying to metaphor you.
If I wanted to start some type of band in Mobile, and I wanted to have the Mobile sound, what would I have to do to achieve the Mobile sound?
Well, you would miss it because you'd be trying to find it. It just has to be in your blood. You have to have it. It comes from listening to those records, and it just gets in your DNA.
Now it's starting to sound like the Mobile sound is made up bullcrap because you haven't been able to give me any kind of indication of what it might be.
Yes, it's jazzy, bluesy, swampy, added to whatever thing you're doing. So there are country bands from here, but I can discern them from country bands from other places because they still have those elements in there.
So you've got to be a musician to know what you're talking about? Because as a civilian, it makes no sense.
Well, yes, the Mobile sound, I can pick it out, and I believe that most of the fans of Johnny Gwynn can pick it out. And I believe you can too. You're just
Hey, can we review some records here? Some classic vinyl. We have some classic vinyl here. Can I get your opinion of some classic vinyl?
Yes.
Like we've got this garbage, Ozzy Osbourne.
Yeah, I like some Ozzy. No, I mean not everything, but yeah, yeah.
You know, he was in a group about the devil. Black Sabbath.
He might be the most likely to go to the devil.
All right. You know what? Could you burn this? Johnny, will you go out and burn this album? All right, take this and go outside and burn the album. Oh, thank you very much. Now, we've got the only person here that won't talk is the sound guy. What do you think about this album?
Oh yeah, that was a big one for everybody. It's very they were pushing the boundaries. They were like
Pink Floyd's Dark Side of the Moon. How many people do you think were listening to this album when they overdosed?
a lot, but you know, there were also a lot of people that listened to that album and then created things that you like, probably.
Like what?
I don't know. It's
like
hard,
the DIP song?
Maybe. I mean, I listened to it. Do you like the DIP song?
All right.
Then yes, that's one.
What about this unfortunate person?
She was very fortunate in that era. We all were in love with her at that point.
Musically, Eric Erdman, would you be playing this album at home?
Currently, no, but maybe.
Good.
Maybe. Yeah, don't burn that one.
What about the story of Star Wars?
I mean, I do love the Star Wars. I didn't hit your critique up here. I mean, your number, whatever that was. I didn't call May 4th. May the 4th be with you.
All right, so the record is burning. Is there any way to see?
Oh, we're burning records out here.
All right, there is some flames outdoors. The record is on fire.
Oh no!
Isn't that
shame? Shame.
It was an Ozzy Osbourne album.
Well,
Ozzy would
art.
probably. Ozzy would be. He would be proud to know that people were burning his album, don't you think?
Oh well, that would be an element to it, but it still feels wrong. It feels like burning books, which is also not
Now,
a good idea.
I want to try to destroy an album myself. The Knights in Satan's Service. What is your review of Kiss? The Knights in Satan's Service.
You gotta love Kiss. Come on.
How do you gotta love them? Why?
Because they rock. They're like the you know.
Come on, Eric.
I mean,
they're overrated.
They had a movie about them at a night at the Phantom at the amusement park.
They're overrated. You know that if they'd never worn makeup, they'd be serving us hamburgers tonight.
They were better with makeup for sure, but you know.
All right, I want to try and destroy this album because
It hurts my soul that you're
really
destroying.
To destroy an album?
You're destroying art.
I don't know if I have the body strength as an older person to do it, but I sure would love to destroy this album. This is good coronavirus stress release.
No. Don't do it. Don't. Oh, no.
What do you mean, come on? They're dadgummit, they're Knights in Satan's Service. One of them is the demon that stuck his tongue out. Do you remember that? Sick. Love it.
Also, the demon of which you speak is friends with Buddy Richman, by the way.
All right, well, tell him hello.
I don't know.
The next time you see him. All right, look, we need to get that out of my face, please. We need to be ending the program. Would you like to play a final song before the end of the show?
Sure.
Grab your guitar.
This was inspired by the Dark Side of the Moon.
All right. Now, what?
I'll
All right, now look, you want to burn another record?
You do. I got them for you.
Oh, you know, I've been given the choice of burning a record while you're playing.
Right, yeah.
How about burning?
Don't burn the record.
Burn the Star Wars. May the Force be with you, folks. May the Force be with you.
Not John Williams. Not John Williams.
All right, go take it. All right, now before you play, dadgummit, I got so excited about burning that record, I forgot what I was going to ask. The song you're going to play is?
This is called Take It for a Ride.
All right, when you're performing the song, please don't look over and gaze in my eyes while you're doing it. We had an unfortunate incident a few weeks ago where a young man started to play a George Strait song and he kept looking over deep into my eyes. And it was very disconcerting. So please don't look in my eyes while you're doing it.
This song is called Hot Legs.
Come on now. All right, please. Eric Erdman.
Every single morning is a blank page waiting. You're the one holding the pen. Endless possibilities coming out of nothing. Once you give it your 2 cents, you create a direction. Once you make a decision, the blank page starts to look like a map. You hold the power in the palm of your hands. It's the choices you make, not the choices you have. If it hurts, don't hold it. If it hates, just take it in stride. This world has more than enough of what doesn't feel like love. So when it does, take it for a ride. You'll find that there's no need for second guessing when sitting right there on the passenger side is everything that you need when you get to where you're going, and nothing to unpack once you arrive. So before you put some miles in the rearview mirror, why don't you take a look at that smile on your face? Tell me, to you, has it ever been clearer what you're gonna leave, what you're gonna take? And if it hurts, don't hold it. If it hates, just take it in stride. This world has more than enough of what doesn't feel like love. So when it does, take it for a ride. If it hurts, don't hold it. And if it hates, just take it in stride. This world has more than enough of what doesn't feel like love. So when it does, take it for a ride.
That was magnificent as usual.
Thank you.
Magnificent. But have you ever written a song about slapping somebody?
I haven't written.
Instead of taking it for a ride, about just turning around and slapping them?
I haven't, but some of those scholars probably need a song written about them.
All right. Anything? We're out of time. Is there anything you want to tell the audience on Facebook?
Well, I just want to say it's an honor to be on this show, not just because I'm a fan of yours, but you're a staple and a legend in the Mobile community. And I remember going as a kid to watch your show, so it's really cool for me to full circle be here as a guest on your show.
Well, thank you. And it's an honor to me to have a responsible adult such as yourself come on the show. I mean, you've hung out with some really, now admittedly they're all morally bankrupt, but you've hung out with some of the top rich individuals on the planet, and the fact that you would make time for those of us in Mobile, we love that. We love that you're nice to all of us here in Mobile, and you don't act like you don't have the big head.
Big fan of Mobile. Everything promotes Mobile I'm a fan of, which you are a big part of that, and Deep Fried Studios is as well. So thank you.
Very good. All right, what now? Oh, one more song?
Oh, it just makes sense, right?
All right, very good. Thank you to Johnny Gwynn, the inexpensive winos at deepfriedstudios.com. Thank you very much. We're ending the show.
Turn the corner, down by the Zippin' Vicks. That's a bar. All the people let the sick go, doing the cowboy kick. Drove past the Zebra Club, another bar, and the Parkway Lounge, third bar. Over at Legends, baby, you know that they're sure enough going down, 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 yeah. You can take me out the Parkway, can't take the Parkway out of me. And if you ask me where I'm from, I bet I say DIP, yeah. From early in the morning until way after dark, I spent about half my life down at Tremere Park. They shut down the Superstop, man, and closed up the Bargain Bazaar. But in the 36605 is where I learned how to play this guitar. And you can take me out the Parkway, can't take the Parkway out of me. And if you ask me where I'm from, I bet I say DIP, yeah. When they lay me down in my final place of rest, I'll be in a pine box 6 feet under the ground down at Pine Crest, baby, yeah. 'Cause you could take me out the Parkway, can't take the Parkway out of me. And if you ask me where I'm from, bet I say DIP, yeah. Because I'm 36605 till I die. Thank you.
End it. We already said goodbye. End it. Get there. What the? Come on. Would you just get us off the screen? Goodbye. Turn it off. All right. Come on. Don't make me get up and walk off. Is it over? End it while I'm sitting here. Just end it. Turn it off. All right, we're done. Thank you for watching.